compensation. Oh, good grief, that does seem more difficult. We don't like talking about difficulty. There's this speed of being able to answer, all other things being equal, is that last one was quicker than the one before, just because there's less reading involved. This one is going to take longer because you've got to review each of the options and see, you've got to see which is in and which is out and make sure that you have three.
Peter, supposing in this screen you click 4, what happens?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So if there's...
The previous screen.
Oh, yeah. It was question number 30.
Yeah, the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Income tax expense? You have reached the number, yeah? So then what you'd have to do...
Unclick one and unclick another.
Unclick the one, yeah. Or you can clear the whole lot and start again. Okay? But again, that would, if I'd left that, so that's like question 13, if I'd left that with nothing in, it would have not told me anything. So, well, that looks like about 600 probably. Right. Now I think I've probably seen as many questions, or a variety of questions that we're going to see in there, then, yeah, again, same story. Now, yeah, one decimal place, 2.35%, 2 decimal places, it does the rounding behind the scenes. So it's just saying, with the numbers it's slightly different. It doesn't say, oh, you've not done this. Okay, now we would get through eventually to question number 16. So the first time through, that review screen thing is not there. Oh, drop down. Charger allowance of 8,000. That's how we do tax. Was there anything else? Oh, I do think there's a hotspot question here. That's why I went for F1. Not to show off my wonderful knowledge of F1. Yeah, and I'd already done it. It's the one that I'd already done. So yeah, this is the hotspot one. Junior accountant has prepared the following corporate income tax computation. The accounting profit of 125,000 up at the top here has been correctly calculated. There are 2 errors of principle within the income tax computation which need to be calculated to arrive at the correct taxable profit. Click on the numerical cells in which there is an error. Right? So look, this is what I was saying before. Look, the hotspot, it's kind of like multiple choice. So in this case, multiple answer. We know there are 2 things to look for. It could have given me a list of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are in there, or 6 if I include taxable profit, and I could have just been clicking on 2 of them. But instead of that, I'm going to click on entertaining, which is disallowable for tax, because that sounds as though it makes sense. Now, it doesn't have to, you see it's anywhere on that row that I'm clicking. I think entertaining, the word entertaining shouldn't be there. Of course, I don't know what the numbers are, and there's no evidence, so it's somewhere in that row. So you've just got to be careful that you don't sort of slip up to the word adjustment, because it'll take a red cross anywhere. Wait, that's the number that it told me was correct. Actually, that might be incorrect. Anyway, so it would actually take 2 crosses in the one place. So there's a little bit more margin for error, or variability, or emphasis on taking care than we might have in something which there are 6 boxes to tick. Okay? Accounting depreciation, not tax depreciation. Oh no, you add back accounting depreciation, don't you?
Yes.
Exempt income can't be taxable, that's the one. I think I had that right when I pulled the screen up. Okay, so that's another type of question in there. And, you know, let's pick on Singapore. No idea. Okay, I think I'm through. Yeah, another one. 120,000. I'm not going to get many marks in this, so I might not pop up the screen at the end. Right. So I've got. Let's say I've got to the end. You know, so it's question 60. I put in my answer for question 60, and I do next. And what it will do is it will then throw up the review screen. All right. That's why I was clicking a lot of things. Now, remember question 13 was the one that I flagged, and I think it had asked for 2 things, and I put in 1, or 3, and I put in 2. Now, it tells me I've got 22 that are unseen incomplete. I've also got, on the left-hand side, there's a couple that I put yellow flags against. So on question 5, I put down an answer, and I wasn't sure of it. So now a student's got to develop a rationale for flagging things, knowing that if they leave it completely, and if they leave it completely alone, it will come up as being incomplete. Yeah? So they don't touch it, they just click past it, they can find it again. So they don't need to flag it and move on. So the one that I flagged 7 because I clicked something on it. Yeah, question 5. So you can click on it and it will take you back to that question. Remember this one? I wasn't quite sure, I just wanted a few more minutes to think about it. So if you think about what we've done on the way through, we've gone through, picked off the ones that we're comfortable with answering and getting out of the way. The quick to read ones, the no you don't know ones, quick calculations. We've done all that. Now we can come back, and the reason that this one was flagged was wasn't sure with what I put down. Right? So I'm just going to review it. Say, actually, the IFRS Foundation have nothing to do with the IASB. So, and the idea, like we say in paper-based exams, why do you spend time finding the easy marks? It's so that you don't panic. It's so that after an hour of the exam, you're confident that you've got 30 marks towards the 50 that you're after. The same in this. After 25 minutes of a 90-minute test, you've gone through and probably answered 30 questions. The ones that you're confident with, the ones that you can answer quickly. So therefore, you can spend some time and say, right, I can relax. The heart rate has gone down. You're able to concentrate better and make a fair attempt on these ones. And you can dip in and out and go through. Oh, I didn't unflag that one, but I can unflag it there. All right, and I can go through the incomplete ones. You see down at the bottom right. I can review all. That's going to start at number 1, which I've put an answer in for. I can review the flagged ones only, so the ones that I gave a special message to myself, come back and double check this if time allows. Or I can review the incomplete. And on my second run through, I would be going review incomplete. So now this is going to go 2, whatever it was, 2, 8, 9. The ones that showed in red were incomplete.
What happens when you flag it and then you submit it stands up and it's time for submission? How will the computer read the flag?
Well, let's do just that. We'll go through and I'll just put answers in against, sorry. That's a good one. Right, that was multiple choice. Okay, so I'm just getting rid of a few of the incomplete ones. I won't get, right, question 13, remember, I'm axed, so this is said it's incomplete.
That's my question. If there's supposed to be 2 answers and I only ticked 1, will it come when I review my review screen? Will it be incomplete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one. This is,
Incomplete.
remember I said question 13, I'm deliberately just putting one tick in there.
Okay.
Obviously pretending that in the exam I've accidentally only ticked one. Yeah? So that came up and it told me question 13 is incomplete. Now, you know, I've spent half an hour already looking at it. I can't remember what question 13 is. So I click review incomplete. It just goes to that one and I'm thinking, what? Why is that incomplete? Ah, which two? Brilliant. Okay, there. And then move on. Okay? Here's another one that was incomplete. Now, remember there was a couple that were flagged. Let me just make sure. I'm flagging this for review. Question 38. Okay? Now, let's say I get all the way through again to the end. I don't know where that's going to. I just click like crazy. When I get to the end of the second run through, it will take me back to the review screen. And now obviously it's a lot clearer because I did a lot of incomplete. Again, just for demonstration, I've left a good number that are incomplete. Right? So let's say that I want to end the exam. Not a wise move when there's however many are incomplete. And then I get this. You have chosen to end the current review. Big alert sign in there. But have 17 incomplete questions. If you click yes, you will not be able to return to this review and your exam will end. Clearly what a student will be doing there is saying no, and I'll go back to it. All right? Thanks. Right? So, let's just presume I've gone through and done that. It didn't mention the flagged one.
Yeah.
You notice that? So it's the student's job either to say, I'll review the flagged ones. Why did I flag that one? I just wanted to double check it. What was the next one that I flagged? I just wanted to double check it. So I can click on the, I've just gone away from it, I can click the flag or I can just exit. Now let's say they were all complete. Do I want to end the exam? Yes. Notice it gives me a second chance, right? So I'd already seen this warning. Say, are you sure? Yes, I am. Thank you for completing. End the exam. Yeah?
Let's say that I did not have the time to go back to my flagged ones. How will the computer read the answer?
It will take whatever answer I put in.
Okay.
It takes the answer that I put in. Now this is what happened. This is not what's going to happen to the student in the exam. This is just on the practice platform. What? Did I get some right? Chuffed with that. I got 12%. Oh, that's because I did the Treasury Bills ones, didn't I?
Could I ask, say on the real exam, not on the practice exam, on the real exam, the student has come to the 90 minutes, but has not, he has to click the end exam.
At 90 minutes, it will close it for you.
It will close it,
Yeah.
whatever you have done, it will save that.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and if somebody walks past your exam and kicks your computer off the desk and pulls out all the cables, it will have saved up to that point. There's real-time savings. So if there is a power outage, if there's an accident, anything like that, what you've done today will be recorded and they could reinstate the exam from the position that you were at.
That's right.
Yeah? Plenty of security around that.
Peter,
Yes?
what about when you review the questions? Some comes as incomplete, so you can click it and do what you need to do. And the flagged ones also. What about the other ones that you feel that you've done it and suddenly you want to recheck? Can we go back and check it?
You can go back, you can check all 60 of them.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you probably don't want to.
Yeah.
Because some of those ones, you know, if you know your treasury bills, then bang, that's done. Let's get it out of the way.
No, but suddenly you feel like checking on something.
Yeah, but then you've got to remember what it is that you wanted to check. So the discipline to try to develop is one where you do flag. You know why you're flagging. So the ones that you do that you know about, you can move on. The other ones you can. Yeah.
What about the scratch pad?
Yeah, so the scratch pad. Okay, we don't have the scratch pad in the model one. There's two things. There's two things that a student is going to be able to make notes on. One is a pop-out thing. So up in the top here, you're going to have the pop-out calculator and this scratch pad. And the scratch pad is a simple. It's a completely unformatted white screen for typing on.
Like a notepad. Like a notepad?
Yes, just so there's no bold, there's no underlining, there's no bullet points.
Would you be given a hard copy of a...
Well, so there's the one thing up there that you can do. The second thing that you've got is a whiteboard, not a sheet of paper. We're paper free from 2014. It's whiteboards with marker pen. So that it's, again, I've not physically seen it, I just get so the student can just handwrite on it, and it's an A4 size thing. Again, I've not seen it at all. And you can do that, and so again, you can note down as well as flagging. You can say question 13, I want to review. So that facility is there. I imagine the students will make use of that more than the one. Now, I also, if we could just take, I just want to take a short run through on the case studies as well. Now, with the case study, you've been handed out the pre-seen or indication of the pre-seen material. That's not the whole thing that's in there. But the pre-seen material has got some really, it's supposed to be two styles. There's the first page is the company context settings. It's defining the company or the organisation you're working for, your role in the organisation, the key players in the organisation, its management structure and things like that, product range and so on. But in addition to that, there's what was originally described as the research data bank, but it's been published as extra pre-seen material, which then starts looking around the fictitious industry or the organisation itself with news articles or references or historic financial data and so on. All right? So it's all the information that the candidate has before the exam to be familiar with, although it's not intended to be something that they sit down and learn. You're not supposed to walk into the exam remembering that the return on capital employed is 24.7%. And that Mr. W has got 5. Is this? Hey, an erasable booklet. Oh wow! Just have a look. Oh, hey, finally seen one. Team told you. Oh wow. So anyway, I'm up against the clock, so that's very exciting. I'm stealing. We don't have them back in London, is it? First person in the world to have them. Okay, so back to the case. Look, So the student is familiar with the organisation and the industry, is aware of what data is available in that additional database and bank. You know, maybe alerted to, there'll be some things in there that might indicate areas of greater concern than others, but doesn't have to learn anything off by heart. Because when they go into the exam, right, click next to begin the exam. Now, the anatomy of the case study is such that you have got the pre-seen material. Then you've got what we've been calling triggers. So what the idea of the case study is to test that mixture of technical business people and leadership skills in a business setting. Right? So this person, or you, this is the management one, so you're a finance manager. Yeah? You've come into your office this morning, right? And laying there next to the coffee machine is a news article with this graph about, so you're in the airline business, about fuel prices. Yeah? And the impact on airfares and therefore ticket prices and so on that you're going to be doing. Alright? So you've got this little story that it's a trigger, it's an event, it's something that moves the story on from what you knew from the pre-scene into today. And it's going to, because we're talking about fares, it's going to trigger some work that you've got to do. It's going to trigger a task. Now, the student will, again, be able to pop out the pre-scene. This is an extract, but they'll have everything that you've got, plus everything that's available as a pre-scene database. They can pop out this at any point in the case study, right? And it will have a searchable function as well. So if you wanted to put in something about share price, type in share price and it will find within that pack of data, it will find all the references to share price. All right, so it's a searchable database of the pre-scene material. The structure is just telling you how many tasks you'll be doing and how long. All right, you'd notice up here the clock already started at 45 minutes. And in case you so look, that's not much in there. It's a bit of a scene setter. And then I click next. So let's see, we call that the trigger. That's moved things along. Then I've got a task. Right? And this is the finance director sent you an email asking you to be part of a working party. I would like you to join a working party established here. I'm concerned. I would like us to suggest ways in which improved accounting might help the company to manage this problem. Before the meeting, I would like you to prepare a report that covers 2 issues. So the task is done now. We're moving away in the case study from the box that says required, calculate, evaluate, analyse, and so on. So we're not going to see all the verbs that we're used to all the time. Sometimes there will be. You notice there it says include an evaluation. Evaluate, that's one of our verbs. But the first one, include a strategic analysis of the implications for Flyjet of a prolonged increase in fuel prices. Include is not one of our verbs. It's the only verb in there. Implications imply, that's not a verb. So, we're going to have to perform a strategic analysis or construct or whatever the verb might be. Yeah?
What about marks allocation? How do you know that how much to write it? So
You've got 45 minutes. Broadly speaking, now this is all sort of being confirmed. So the process of working out how long marking will take is coupled with an in-depth sort of critique of what is going to be earning marks. But if you look at the answers that are delivered, there's a fairly clear similarity to the way that we advise on written questions just now, is that there will be a couple of marks for every well-made, relevant point that's contributed into this. All right. So 45 minutes is so 45 minutes is a quarter of the exam. It's 25 marks roughly going for this exercise. It would be split. One bullet point doesn't necessarily equal the size of another bullet point, but so far it looks as though that's what they're aiming for. But remember, the marks are not just coming from knowing what our strategic analysis is. It's going to be saying, applying it to this business, fuel prices, the jet company, and so on. So the business element, the impact that might have on individuals in the organisation, and so on. All right. Evaluation of the ways in which adoption of activity-based management, target costing, cost reduction opportunities. So of course cost reduction might lead through to people issues and leadership issues that are in there as well. All right. So yeah, there will be more on that. So this is a point. Again, it's intended to simulate business. And none of us works with somebody who gives us a task by saying, right, chat. Here's the requirements. I would like you to prepare analysis of, calculate this, and specifically give you verbs to give you instructions. Yeah, you get, I need it done, in 45 minutes because I've got a meeting and I want to review it before the meeting, and so on. Okay, so it will be more conversational and so on, and that is part of the task. That's intentional. But by the exam scheme to make sure that people are responding in a business environment. Again, we will be taking care to be culturally sensitive and linguistically sensitive, so that we're not going to use slang. We're not going to have people talking in text speak or anything like that. We don't want them speaking text speak back to us and so on. So, it will be along these lines, and you'll see them in a number of different things. And then the third screen in this task, in this 45 minutes, is the answer screen. And it's straightforward typing. There's very little that you can do other than copy, paste, bold, etc. Underline. So, and again, this is deliberate so that we're not giving an advantage to somebody whose skills are in word processing, because we're assessing whether they're good management accountants, not typists. And we obviously, since launching the syllabus and telling people that this is the way we're assessing, we've had a few questions that have been asking about typing skills, and it falls into we're not making this a words per minute exercise, right? So we're not saying that people have to go away and learn touch typing, And yes, it might be helpful if you want to write an awful lot in your exam. But what do people criticise, what do examiners criticise students for in the written exams? Overwriting. Saying too much. If you went back to your boss and said, here's 17 pages on what you just asked about, that you've got to take into a board meeting in the next 15 minutes, it's useless. So, really, less is more in terms of what people are writing. Yes, it's great if they can type and get their thoughts down quickly, because that gives them time to plan and to rearrange. I might think, I want to change the order of that, so I will cut that from there and I will paste it up here, because that's good. So yes, I can prioritise afterwards. It's better than writing on paper, because once something's scribbled down, you're done for. Here, you can change it. And if you do have students that are saying, but my typing skills aren't great. I can't speak for everyone individually, but our examiners tell us their handwriting skills aren't great either. And it's just, so they'd have to go some for their typing skills to be worse than their handwriting skills. Sorry?
Is that the only space that the student have?
Oh, it goes on and on and on. Yeah, I mean, it creates space as you go down. So if I go copy and just go on.
Peter,
Yeah?
tables. Would you be able to insert the tables in between your text?
No. That's all you can do.
No,
This
the
is
top,
all that you can do.
the top, on the top. The table. Oh, that table.
Yeah, that too. I just noticed what you...
I thought it was that, insert
No, it doesn't, no graphs, no tables, no diagrams, no PowerPoint. Alright, so the reference material is what was on the previous screen. So you've got, that comes, this is cumulative. So that was my trigger, that was my task. Instead of just going back and forth through the previous and next screens, so if I want to talk about the level of prices, oops, there I can find it in there. Oh, look, it peaked at 160 and it bottomed out at whatever that is,
So the trigger
55.
is unseen, is it?
Sorry?
Is the trigger the unseen? The reference
No.
material?
Yes, it's unseen, yes, yeah. So the pre-scene is always available in all your tasks.
Can you copy from pre-scene students? No.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Again, it's another examiners. The examiners who shout at us, say, handwriting, repeating information I gave in the question as if it were new information. Remember all this in post-exam guides? Same thing. Now, I'm getting the wrap-up sign. If this clock gets about 5 minutes, there'll be a warning. It comes up, 5 minutes to go, which then means that the student really, I think the student ought to stop writing and start tidying up. Prioritise, reread it, cut and paste, and so on. Yeah? And just like the OTs, if that clock goes to 0, it will close down and it'll say task finished. And whatever you've got there is saved. And likewise, if I were to pull the plug on this now, whatever I've written there is saved, so I could restart it.
So in that case, you have to do task 1, task 2 in that order. Say if you...
I'll show you. This is still task 1. To do this report about strategic analysis, TQM and activity-based management thing. Okay? Let's say, I think I've written a super answer there, and I'll go on. You're about to leave the section of the exam, you'll not be able to return once you've left. Do you want to continue? Absolutely right. Because you've got a 3-hour exam. Look, I've got half an hour here. That half hour isn't going to be added on to the next task or the task after. Because they're simulated. Each of these tasks is, somebody comes in, I need this in 45 minutes. So you can't say to them, oh look, the last thing I did 30 minutes early. It might be a different boss, a different week. So the student is not buying time for themselves. If I do this exam will finish after 2.5 hours instead of 3. You get that? And I'll do it just for the demonstration.
So this means that you can't choose whether you want to do 2 or 3 first instead of 1.
No, because
You have to go to that order.
because the exam it moves forward in time. All right. So I'll just quickly point at this next one. So I'm ending section 1, and look, it says 1 week later. So what we've spent 45 minutes thinking about strategic activity-based management because we're joining a working party. And then, look, the working party's initial findings included the introduction of a total quality management programme. Now, we might have in task one said, look, total quality management would be very expensive, very difficult to implement in a jet business. The costs would outweigh the benefits, right? Now, we shouldn't be worried about that because that might be a good argument. It might be actually a very acceptable argument, but this is now telling us that our argument has been put together with other people's arguments, and unfortunately we've been voted out and they've implemented TQM. But the point is that we've now moved on in time, yeah? So, I mean, it's partly the reason why we can't go back. You know, if you saw this when you said don't do TQM, the temptation is, let's go back and change my answer. And you know, it's a week too late. You can't.
Is this for all case studies at every level?
Yeah.
It's a follow-up?
Yeah, it's all, you know, it may not all be 1 week later, one might be, you know, the next day, it might be in the afternoon, it might be, you know, but every trigger moves you on in time, all right, and asks you to do something else, all right? So, again, similar features in there. Notice also, top left, the stuff about fuel prices and the previous email, they're gone. They were for task one only. Alright? I can still go back to the pre-scene and the full database as much as I want. Working part, of course, there's a little bit of stuff in there. Again, you might find yourself kicking yourself because there's something mentioned in here that you failed to mention, but that's the way of exams. Alright, finance director's emailed you again. Prepare a report that demonstrates the change management issues. So we've moved on. So ABM was P2, TQM is P2, strategic stuffy duff, that was E. So we started off around the P and the E pillar. Change management is E pillar. Yeah? I need you to evaluate the marketing implications, E pillar. Alright? And then, again, reference materials are what I've the email I've just seen and the exec summary. And then I get the chance to answer that. Move on. Next. Okay. Oh, I've not viewed the entire screen, sorry, that's why it's not letting me. Yes, I'm leaving it. Yes, I'm leaving it. Okay, and then the clock is reset to 35 because I'm on task 3, which is 35 minutes. Redundancies mentioned, so there's people issues in there. Leadership, senior management levels. Follow the announcement. Yeah? Paul is very E-based, but... Okay, so...
Would you be able to highlight?
No. Other than that, but then it was a state
How to present the graph is the answer?
You can't do graphs.
Yeah,
So that's it. No tables, no graphs. It won't. It will not expect a graph.
It's part of the analysis, right? Like once something about to present the graphical form, like pie chart or whatever. You're not supposed to
You can't do a pie chart.
so whatever graph or histogram or whatever. Not at all. So there's a little limitation right in
No, I mean it's all you can present and all that's expected. Now, you know, if you do want to talk about distribution of resources between 4 things, then yes, a pie chart would be fantastic to do. What you might want to do is say, you know, something like if you did this as bold, row pie chart. You know, and then put in your first thing, and you'd say, you know, whatever, 40%. So, yeah, try and use a bit of imagination around it all. Just write distribution, you know, as some.
No graph, no chart, just type.
Yeah, so instead of having my pie chart of whatever.
When you present your financial statements, how to align the, let's say.
You're not presenting financial statements. You're not. There's no numbers in here. You won't be doing financial statements, discounted cash flow calculations, variances statements, linear programming. You'll be doing none of that because that's all been tested in the subjects. You might present some numbers. You might think that it's useful to say 39% of your technical of your skills are technical. Yeah. So you might do the odd calculation, but none of these requirements will say calculate this, calculate that. Tell me what I should be doing. Tell me what the issues are, and you might want to underline it by saying, you know, our current profit margin is 20%. If prices go up, our profit margin will fall to 18%. So you might do a calculation to support an argument, but you won't be asked to do that. So you're not presenting financial statements. That's all been tested. Yeah? And I say, if you do think it's useful to talk about some kind of proportionate thing, yes, you can go through. And again, it's the same rationale as saying that why we don't have tons of word processing. You know, we could get Word and Excel and PowerPoint, but the people that would benefit from that aren't necessarily the good management accountants. Yeah? So those with an artistic leaning might benefit from that. Yeah? So that's again a deliberate, conscious choice that's been made in there. I wouldn't write pie chart if it's not a pie chart, because I'm a stickler. Yeah? But I'd have something like that, a distribution of whatever it is. Okay. Now, I've got something else to go to. Christine's looking very worried that we might not get there.
Peter, is this the same format for a strategic level case study?
Yes. All three. All three are the same. There are some differences that you would find in strategic. The requirements become more integrated in the paragraphs. In operational, you'll have a bullet point for this and that and the other, like we saw for the ABM and the strategic stuff. So there's just a little bit more. You'll tend to have longer tasks in strategic, probably only 3 tasks, possibly 4. Operational, you might have 4 or 5. Yeah. So there are a few differences that are going to come out. And again, the last thing that I intend to say is that I've referred to it already. We're in the process of finalising a tutor handbook, which has got all the information that's been alluding to today and more. So we've got something we call the anatomy of the case study that just talks about the general structure of them. It explains, you know, what you might get in a trigger, in a task, the type of things that you'll see in the pre-scene materials, how it gets used, indications of the extent to which you have to consider technical teaching for case study, things that I've said about the teaching for the OTQ sections, and do you use long questions? Do you look at discussion points? Yeah. The type of skills that the students got, how the tutor has to develop to teach those skills or to cover those skills. It's a big piece of work. We could release it piecemeal, but we're trying to get something that will be very comprehensive, and by the middle of October we'll have something that will be coming out to you, and all the guys here will be making sure that you get it.
One last question.
Sure.
You said that the case study, there are four months when the cases come out, right?
Yes.
Then all the 4 months, the cases are different.
Yes.
It's not like currently where you have March and May.
No.
It's not like that.
There'll be 4 pre-scenes. There will be 5 variants for each pre-scene, so there'll be 20 case studies in a year for each level. Yeah, it's a lot. So there's going to be plenty of past exams for you to work from. What was I going to say? Yeah, the pre-scenes, the timing will be that colleges will have the pre-scene 10 weeks before the case study window. So you have 10 weeks to look through all this pre-scene stuff, understand the business, look at issues in the business, think about issues that might come up. The students see it 7 weeks before the exam. All right, and in the intervening 3 weeks, that's actually a week more than, you know, like EPP and Kaplan and so on, write mock exams, and you get the pre-scene analysis and all that sort of stuff. They'll be doing that as well. So when the students get the pre-scene 7 weeks before the exam, there will be some support material from Kaplan anyway that looks at that. Yeah. So they'll be churning those out.
So the first exam.
First exam is February. Now, February is an exception that the operational was in the 3rd week of February, management in the 4th week of February, and the strategic is in the 1st week of March. All right. It just allows us to tally with the release of exams from November.
Questions, when do they begin?
2nd of January.
2nd of January.
Yeah. Well, what's that? No negative marking. Same principle as we got just now. Yeah. So it's a wrong answer is 0. Incomplete answer is 0. Yeah. Yeah, so there's no negative marking. Well, the last thing, just to, I don't know, you know, we may have released it, maybe just in the last couple of days, but the November 2014 exam results will be issued to students on the 18th of December. 18th of December, which is when the pre-scene and so on get available for the February exams. So it just allows people to have a chance to coordinate their revision. Okay. Now, so I'll just, there is one very last slide that I should just stick up here. Oh dear. Yeah, so as I say, these slides, Christine's going to take them and email them to you, so there'll be everything that I've covered. There's a couple of bits that I've skipped. As I said, there's a tutor handbook which is in the advanced stages of production just now, really just waiting for a couple of decisions on marking and so on before we can finalise it. It will have a lot of things to help you, to help your tutors, to help your colleagues deliver the 2015 exam training. There is also, as we've had for 6 months, we've had this specific group email where me and my team receive any queries that we've had on those. If you've contributed to that, thank you very, very much already. There was a lot of feedback that we got on the practice exams, which has been taken back in. Incidentally, the OTQs, we know there's a few typos and bits and pieces in there. They've all the feedback that people have given us has gone into a review process, and we will have a refreshed set of objective test questions, practice questions at the end of October available. So typos, there are a couple of other things in there that just needed tweaked. So yeah, and that's partly driven by people contacting us through this email address. So again, if there are any questions that come in there, then please do drop them in there, and we'll answer them as quickly as we can.
This tutor support is already ready?
It's not the tutor handbook This is email. Oh yeah, it's live. It's live. You can write to it right now if you want.
No, the reason is because you are going to be here only once in a blue moon. So do we have anybody here to give a direct